Hello and welcome to Aztec America's Oracle ABS Financials Functional Training. My name is Bob and I'm the lead senior consultant for Aztec America. And with me today I have Victor, who is also a senior consultant. And today we are covering General Ledger Lesson 12. Victor, can you please walk us through?
Thank you, Bob, for the introduction, and welcome to our 12th lesson of Oracle Financials Functional Training. And my name is Victor, as Bob said. Today we are hopefully going to continue with the concepts on budgets that we already started, and we are going to continue from where we left off the last lesson and hopefully complete this topic of budgets. So we already looked at budget organizations, we looked at budget versions and created both of those features in our GL. We also looked at the budget cycle, and now we're in budget entry sources, and we are focusing on two sources, which are amounts and journals. And we are going to look at all the other sources in one form or another as we continue with our lessons. So in our previous lessons, we already saw how to enter amounts directly in our budget. So today we are going to look at how we can enter budget budget amounts through budget journals. So like we said in our previous lesson, budget journals are similar and different to normal journals in various ways. For budget journals, you don't have to meet the accounting rules of balancing, where the debits and credits should be equal to each other. We also said that debit amount is an increase in a budget journal, and a credit amount is a decrease. The other thing that we are going to see that is related to this characteristic is that while budget amounts are entered directly, and when you enter an amount, you completely override the amount that was there before. For journals, the effect of journals is cumulative. What does this mean? When you debit an amount using a journal, when you debit a budget amount, for example, using a budget journal, what you're doing is you're increasing the budgeted allocation for that particular period. So those are just one of the things that I wanted to say before we go to the system and see how the journals work. We're also going to talk about how this might be advantageous or disadvantageous when we compare these two types of entry sources, the amounts and the journals. So let's quickly go to the screen in Oracle. Let's go here. I'm going to log out and log in correctly with the correct user. So let's go to budgets, and instead of going budgets, enter amounts, we're going to go to budgets, enter, and then journals. Okay, I had logged in as another user, that's why I'm getting this message. So just click yes. The correct window. Select that again, see whether, okay. So again, you have to select the budget that you want to to enter amounts or enter journals for, and the budget organization. So the budget organization will bring up the right range of accounts for which you want to enter budget amounts. So what are the organizations that we have? We have developers and property. So let's do developers. And for those specific periods. Now in this second part of this window, you can see you have worksheet mode, a single row mode, and journal mode. So when you select to enter budget amounts using journals, budget journals, you have this additional tab. Let me close this and just show you that when you do budgets, enter and choose amounts, that third tab does not show up right here. Okay. So we are doing journals. Let's select the appropriate organization again, and we're doing from January. So let's go to this window and take a look at it. Remember, just like from our worksheet mode, just to take you back here, when you're entering amounts directly, you have to select the accounts for which you want to enter the amounts. So if you select OK here, it brings up all the accounts that fall in this budget organization, and you can enter the amounts for the periods that you want and for the account that you want. Okay, so what I did is, because I selected this here, then I went to journals mode, then it still retained the same account. But anyway, let's just use that account. Supposing you want to enter budget amounts for this particular account, what do you do? Let's take a look first at what the amounts are. No, actually, let's do this. Let's use an account that does not have budget amounts yet. So let's use this account here and go to journal mode. So what do you do if you want to enter budget amounts for this account? You come here and you enter the amounts that you need to enter for the periods that you want to enter. So let's do 100. I'm going to enter amounts for the whole financial year, and they're all going to be the same $100 value. Okay, so that's that. Then you can save this. Then go to create journals. You can give these journals a batch name. So let's call it, what's this account that we used? Okay, let's just call it budget journal. Test category, see whether we have a budget category. So let's put them there. So what happens to when you select this run journal import, remember, in order for these amounts to take place, in order for them to be validated, the amounts have to be posted. You have to post these amounts. When we were entering the amounts directly, we had to post the amounts so that they can take effect as the budget amounts for those accounts and for those periods. So when you run journal import, the import program will run, and then you can go ahead and post this journal. So when you go to the journal query page, the one where we usually enter normal journals, you will see these journals have been imported, and then you can go and verify those amounts and then post those journals, okay, so that the budget amounts will be posted. So let's do that. Let's run journal import, and we have this ID. Okay, so we are done. So let's go to the concurrent manager and view this request. So you see we have this journal import that's running. Click refresh. Hopefully it will complete soon. What we can do is we can go to the journals page where we usually enter the normal general ledger journals. You find, hopefully here we'll be able to, when we requery. All right. So if you check here, we have about 12 journals that are unposted that belong to which category? The budget for the year financial year 2018, and you can see the batch name that we gave these journals. All right. So because they are unposted, these budget amounts have not yet been posted as those, have not yet been entered as those the budget amounts for that account for this period. So you have to post this. You have to post these journals. We can do post. I'm sure we can. So unfortunately, all these journals, they belong to a different batch. So if you come to the batch name here, you can see that they are different. So this one has a 10 at the end. This one has an 11, 12. So we'll only post them individually. All right, so let's post a couple of them. Okay, I already posted that one. Okay, let's go back to our budget screen, and we'll see that only the ones that have been posted, if the posting will have been complete, will have taken effect. So we were posting this for Maskani developer, that period. Let's come here so that we can see the amounts. This is the account that we were posting for. So we can see the one for January was posted. Is it the only one that was posted? Yeah, we did about 3 of them. So those 3 have been posted. But remember, we entered amounts for all the periods in this financial year, but only 3 of them have been posted because those are the ones that we selected. So let's go back. So we did January. January, October, and November. So let's go to journal mode again and enter some new amounts, and let's see how this journal method works. So we are going to enter a debit amount for January for 50. Okay. The other months that we entered for, I believe, were October and November. So let's enter a credit amount for October for 50. And yeah, we can just enter another credit amount for 50 for November. Okay. Let's save that. Let's go to create journals, journal batch. We can say budget amounts change. We'll be able to tell it from the list, but we can query it using the categories and all that and the status. Let's do the budget category, and let's do another journal import. Okay, so we are done here. Let's do concurrent. All right, so let's just go to the journals page, and we can query the journals that we just imported, because we know they are going to be unposted. Let's query them using this unposted category, and you can see them up here using the batch name, budget amounts change, right? So we had 3 of them. One of them was a debit amount for January. The other 2 were credit amounts for October and November, right? So let's post these 3 journals. Okay. Let's post the second one. Okay. Let's post the third one. Okay. All right. So what do we expect? Like I had explained before, using the journal method, you do either it's incremental or cumulative. So once you debit an amount, it is an increase to the previous amount that was there before. If you credit, it's a reduction. All right. So what do we expect? We had posted 100 for each of each of these 3 months. So we expect January amount to have increased by 50, and we expect October and November amounts to have reduced by 50. All right. See whether these have been posted. Yeah, they should have been posted. They have come off this page. So let's go back to our budget screen. Take a look at those accounts. Okay. So this is the account that we're looking at, and true to what we said, you see January has increased by 50. It's now 150, and if we go to October and November, they are now 50 each, because we did a credit of 50 for each of those accounts. So that is the difference between the journal method and the accounts enter amounts method. Sorry, the amounts method. For the amounts method, you override whatever is posted as the budget amount for that period. Okay. Now I know we've been going to that budget screen when we wanted to check the budget balance for those particular periods. But when we want to do budget inquiries, we can also use the inquiries page that we are now familiar with. And on this page, we can do a comparison with actual balances, because I mean, that's the point of the budget that you enter. You want to see how it's comparing with the actual amounts that you're entering in your balances. You can do a comparison with between two budgets. And so we're going to go to the inquiries page and see how we go about this. So inquiry account. You should be familiar with this page. With this window, we've used it a couple of times. So let's do January 18 through, just do December, do the whole year. So how do you do comparisons? When you come down here, you will see that you have the primary balance and the secondary balance type. And you can select from these three radio buttons, these three options: actual, budget, and encumbrance. We are familiar with actual and budget. We are going to look at encumbrance later. So we want to do a comparison for our budget, for our actuals, and our budget. All right. The budget version has already been selected for you here, but you can pick from the versions that you have. So we have Maskani Corporate and Maskani Estimate. So let's keep ours corporate, because I think we haven't entered any amounts for the estimate. And then you can come down here to the accounts, and you can select the range of accounts that you want to do comparisons for. So let's see. Let's do all of them. Hopefully we can be able. This is the account that we were working on. So when you want to do a comparison, we know how to check the balances for the account. You click show balance. When you want to do a comparison, you use this show variance tab. All right. So when you select show variance, then you can see the first column you have the actual, and the second you have the budget amounts, the Maskani corporate budget amounts. And you can see here the variance. So the variance is the actual minus the corporate, and the position of these columns is just dependent on what you choose as your primary or secondary balance type on the balance window right here. Right here. So whichever is the primary becomes the first column, and whichever is the secondary becomes the second column. So you can see we haven't actually entered any amounts. We don't have any actual balances for many periods, and we haven't entered budget amounts for other periods apart from the three that we are experimenting with. So on your own ledger, you can go ahead and enter amounts, then come to this window and check how the variance changes once you enter the amounts. We can try and switch this around. Let's keep that. Let's take this to estimates. I don't think we have any amounts for it, but again, we don't have amounts for the Maskani estimate budget, but you can see it becomes the first column once we select. So you can compare budgets, you can compare actuals and budget balances, and this is the variance. And the columns just depend on what you choose as your primary and secondary balance type. So that's how you use the inquiries option to do comparisons between budgets and actuals. Okay. So we know how to create a budget organization, and we know that a budget organization is used to group accounts in a manner that we want, so that we can enter budget amounts for that range of accounts. And we know that we can add new accounts, natural accounts, and therefore new combinations can be created to our chart of accounts. So what happens if you create a new account? Let's say you add a new account in your natural account segment that falls within the range of a certain budget organization, but it was not there at the beginning when you were actually creating this organization. So how are you going to be able to enter amounts for that account that did not exist before? That is why we have this feature of budget maintenance, and it allows us to keep our budget organization up to date with the various accounts that may be created, in the day-to-day activities of a company. So let's go and look at one of our budget organizations. So budgets, define organization. This is the one that we've used a lot. Let's go to assignments. So these are the combinations that fall within this range. Let's look at ranges. And we know that those combinations, they fall in this range, which is all the accounts in company one. All right. So what if we create a new natural account? How are we going to add it to this range? We use this maintain button. Let's pause for a small break before we continue. All right. So in order to demonstrate this, let's go to our natural account value set. Now these are the values that are contained in this value set, and we know we can periodically update our value sets to reflect new activities or something like that we want to capture for our transaction. So for example, I'm going to add a new expense account. Okay. And I'm going to call it property maintenance. All right. So let's save that. Please enter. Oh, all right. We have to do our segment qualifiers. That's okay. Let's save. So let's go again to, we know that this account is going to fall in our range for company one accounts for our budget organization. All right. So first, let's make sure that this we have a valid combination using this new account that we have created. So let's enter a journal. So just gonna call it budget test. So that account, we want it to be for company one. Fully, it's been added. All right. 100 default. Debit and expense of 500. Let's do cash. Cash is a simple option. 100. All right. You can post this. Dynamic insertion will make sure that this is in the valid combination that exists in our combinations table. Let's go back to our budget window. Let's go to budget, define organization. We want to use a Mascani developers, right? And let's see our assignments. So when you look at this assignment at the moment, we don't have that combination that we just used, and we know dynamic insertion has already entered it in our combinations table, and it's a valid combination, but it's not here, and it's supposed to fall in the range of all company one accounts. Okay. So what happens in a situation like this? What do you do? Because we need, if we go and try to enter amounts, supposing we want to enter budgets, a budget amounts for that expense account. All right. So enter amounts. Mascani developers. Okay. January. We are not able to enter budget amounts for that particular combination because it doesn't exist here, right? So this is where budget maintenance comes into play. All right. So how do you do this? You have an option on the budget organization window. So budget define, and then organization, then maintain, or you can run a request, standard request to maintain the budget organization. And I'm going to demonstrate both of them for you. So, sorry. When you go to enter define organization, the one we want is Maskani developers. All right, you have this maintain button here. Okay, so click on that maintain. A concurrent request is sent. Let's go to the SRS screen. The program, the main budget maintenance program has been launched. Hopefully, all right, while that is running in the background, see assignments. I requeried, let's see whether that's complete. Not yet. So let's go again to assignments, requery. So now you see that combination that we just used, and actually that natural account, and we know that this combination falls within the range for this budget organization. Now it has been added, all right, because we run the budget maintenance program. So now when we want to enter amounts or journal amounts for this budget organization, Maskani developers, we can do that because the account has been added, right? So that's why we do budget maintenance. The other way, as we said, is do a request. So you go to reports, request, standard, to a single request. I'm going to use wildcards. Not sure the exact name. Budget program, maintain budget organization. Okay. And then the ledger is given for you, for the ones that you have access to. And then you select your budget organization. So you want to maintain Maskani developers. Okay. If we run this right now, it's not going to have an effect because we haven't created any new combinations. So now, but in a situation where there are very many new accounts that are perhaps created periodically, you can use this program, and like many other programs, you can schedule it. Normally we've been doing, you do a one-time request by clicking submit, but you see here you have the option to schedule. All right. So you can do once, or you can do periodically, run every 2 days, or run every 3 days, or whatever period interval of time that you want. Okay, so you can do hours, minutes, weeks, or months. And that way, every new change in your in your chart of accounts, maybe you added a new account, will be updated when this program is run. And you can always, so suppose we do periodically, right? So let's say run every 1 day, select OK. You have selected the, oh, we haven't entered the end date, sorry. So let's do start today, let's say tomorrow at 12 a.m. Okay. Select OK and submit. Right? Submit another request? No. Let's go to the request page. So this is the one we just launched. Right? Oh, that it didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. I think we did our scheduling wrong. But anyway, what I wanted to demonstrate is once you have the program scheduled to run periodically, you will come here and see another request is launched automatically because you set it to run periodically. And you can use this cancel request. If you want to cancel your scheduled request, you can use this cancel request option to cancel the scheduled running of your budget maintenance program or any other program that you have scheduled. And we'll see that soon enough. Right. So, like I said, we won't be able to demonstrate using the budget wizard because of a technical problem that we have at the moment. But when you want to use the budget wizard, just like we did, we explained for the journal wizard, you have to select this profile option, desktop viewer, and select the appropriate Excel version. And once we resolve the technical issue, we are going to see all this, the journal wizard and the budget wizard. We are going to see it working completely. So, Robert, unless you have anything else to add, I think that's a good place to end our lesson today.
All right, I think we are good. Thank you so much.
Okay.